Hello everybody, Low Tier for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new video, and I know I am several days late, and I'll be playing catch up on quite a bit of stuff that came out recently about Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately, my work and everything going on in the past week or so, I've been very busy, a lot of live stuff going on, so I've not been able to sit down and make a video about any of the news that's come out. And it's been a packed week for Yu-Gi-Oh! News. We had the ban list, and then we had Burst Protocol reveals and stuff. And it's very hard to keep up with whenever you're busy. So, anyways, obviously this is not a ban list reaction, but I do want to talk about it and give my thoughts on it. Because I think they did a lot right here, and I think they could have done a lot better. So let's go ahead and just kind of dive into it. In case you haven't seen it, with the new banned cards, we have Barrier, Statue of the Torrent, Malice, White Binder, Herald of the Arclight, and Harpy's Feather Dust. Storm, not Duster, that's a different card and not as nearly as strong. Although Duster is a good card. So, I'm going to be honest. Three of these bans are. I totally get. I totally think it's justifiable. Personally, I don't like seeing Herald go. That is one of the three bans. I totally understand why it would get banned and everything. But Herald, I feel bad for it because this card has been fine for so long, and it was such an integral piece of support for so many ritual decks, especially if you wanted to play the Dogmatica engine in the deck, of which most ritual decks did. I've actually been testing out Voiceless Branded again for the first time in a while, and seeing this card go sucks. It really, really sucks. So, I hope one day we get a revised version of this card, or some kind of extra deck monster that searches rituals when it's sent to graveyard that's not nearly as broken. Herald of the Arclight just simply had way too much going on. Why does it have an Omni Negate? Why does it have a Floodgate as well, with everything going to graveyard gets banished instead? And then why does it also search? It is a stupid card. I get that the Herald archetype in general is a very stupid archetype. Even though it's not a functional one by itself, it just is a stupid deck that, not a deck, a stupid archetype that supports other things. And Yummy was the deck that finally broke Herald to the point where they had to ban it, because Yummy just made use of all three effects. Very, very stupid card. Very unfortunately good that it did get finally banned, because I'm set for virtual archetypes out there. Honestly, Barrier Statue of the Torrent, every Barrier statue at this point they should just ban. They're probably not going to hit the light and dark Barrier statues. I really would be surprised if they ever did. Purely because light and dark are the two strongest attributes in the game. They're the two that pop up the most. So unless we get a very weird format where there's like one good light or dark deck and everything else is, I don't know, fire or something, I don't see them getting played that much. Now, with that being said, it's probably just better to be safe than sorry and just get rid of all of them. I know people are increasingly getting sick of floodgates and want all of them to be banned. And, yeah, I totally get it. I understand. I'm very iffy on floodgates. I think they can serve a purpose. But, however, I think the game has also gotten to the point where, trying to out a floodgate and also your opponent's board of like 3 Omni Gates or interruptions or whatever is going on with whatever deck they're playing, it's a little nutty. So, yeah, I can understand why we should be getting rid of all of the floodgates, and honestly, yeah, at this point, just get rid of all of them, probably. Then we got Harpy's Featherstorm. Speaking of floodgates, this one is stupid. This is really a preemptive hit on, what's the deck called again? Radiant Typhoon. Radiant Typhoon is shaping up to be a really solid rogue deck going into Burst Protocol, and this card was an I win button that the deck played 3 of. If you were going second against Radiant Typhoon and they opened Featherstorm, you were probably not winning that game. Like, realistically. The deck generates so much advantage, draws a bunch of cards, is able to just keep negating stuff because of the trap card that makes MST negate. Yeah, this card was a complete and total preemptive ban, and was honestly probably just a very good idea to just get rid of early. Malice White Binder. Okay, so I'm gonna be in the minority here and say I don't like this hit. Okay, I get it that people hate Malice and cyber slop in general and stuff. I personally don't get the hate for Malice that much. I've never had that much of a problem with it, whether playing against or with it. And honestly, I can count on one finger the amount of people I've seen still play Malice. Granted, I know it's just kind of been floating around like the fourth or fifth best deck in the format for the past few formats and stuff. But this to me almost completely kills the deck, and I don't really like that. I don't like that they just keep pounding this deck when it's already effectively been rotated out from power creep. Sure, it's like the fourth or fifth best deck, but I just don't see it. I really think this should have been Shifter that gets banned. Shifter is at 1, if my memory is correct. And I was talking about it with some guys the other day, and uh, a lot of Malice's games are just determined by them opening Shifter. And really, I think that it's at this point, let's just ban Shifter and bring back a White Binder and let the deck let's see what it does. I don't think it's that strong. I really don't, especially if you get rid of Shifter. I don't know. I know I'm in the minority of this. People hate Cybers just like how they hate Pendulum, and I'm in the minority of liking Pendulum and liking Cybers. So I just don't think Whitebinder is that big of a thing. But yeah, I get it. It sets up everything. It banishes 3 cards, lets you do all sorts of nutty stuff. Lets you draw a card whenever you banish it and special summon it back. I get it. I just don't agree with it. Anyways, speaking of not agreeing, okay, so with the limits, I actually like all of these except for one, and that is Habakiri. Habakiri should just be banned. I'm just going to be 100% honest. Habakiri should just be banned. As long as this card is at 1, if you want to play the Mitsurugi engine, and you have a way to make like Ashlyn or some other generic ritual searcher, or you just want to throw in a couple pre-preps, as long as this card's legal, people will do whatever they want to be able to play it, and Habakiri is not a balanced card. Thank God they put the once per duel on it, but that's all you need to end on a, let's see here, an Omni, a Suedo Omni that's also kind of a hand rip depending on what your opponent's doing, a board wipe that can keep coming back and stuff, and God knows what else you do with everything. I am sick of Mitsurugi builds for the most part, and I just want Habakiri banned. They're not gonna ban it, mainly because they are for some godforsaken reason giving us a whole structure deck, and it's literally one of the cards on the cover, if my memory was correct. Actually, no, I think it's Futsu, but he was featured in the promotional art. I think he's like on the back or something. I don't remember. But yeah, they're not gonna hit Habakiri to ban, but they really should have. Just to save us all the trouble. I get it though. They want to push their next legendary decks and stuff. That being said, let's take a look at the other stuff. Dracotel Mululu and Kitu Dracotel going to 1. These were absolutely necessary hits to the deck. But the deck is still going to be probably the best deck in the format, especially with specifically with Burst Protocol. And of course, this Banlist goes into effect basically the week that Burst Protocol comes out. So here's the thing: Burst Protocol gives us the new branded stuff, and literally you just freed up 4 spots for more branded stuff. And the branded Dracotel deck is just really scary, really strong. It's probably going to be the best deck in the format, although K9 Vanquish Soul and possibly even K9 Crystron are going to be thrown up in there as well. I don't know what else is going to really be all that competitive. Yummy is basically dead, and it's not because of Herald. It's because of Yummy Snatchy going to 1. That is stupid. I wasn't thinking Yummy Snatchy should go to one. Personally, I would have like semi-limited all the main deck names or something. Or honestly, I don't like Surprise. That card is stupid. That card could probably get limited. Well, I don't know. Don't they already play mostly only one Surprise? But personally, I would have like limit Marshmallow or whatever because Marshmallow is the broken card in the deck along with Snatchy. But you know what? Limit and Snatchy, I'm fine with that. Kill the deck. I'm sick of Yummy, the face of evil. The deck was. Almost everybody at my locals is playing Yummy. I'm so sick of it. Then we got the Canine hits. Jokul and a Case for Canine. They hit these to one, and like Jokul is arguably the real broken card in the Canine archetype, mainly for whenever you're going first, because he just pumps out so many bodies. One Jokul, along with any other random level 5, represents like 4 or 5 bodies on board without even a normal summon, which is ridiculous. And then, of course, a Case for Canine is just a searcher that gets you to Jokul. So, really, if you're playing a Canine build, all you're doing is playing, well, effectively 2 Jokul. Now, that being said, you still have the other broken stuff in the deck, like Izuna, like Lupus, like Noroi, like everything else. I don't think Canine builds are dead. I think they're still going to be very relevant, especially with the Vanquish Soul stuff coming back. If you haven't seen already, well, Vanquish Soul Holly Sue, thank God, got limited. They did bring back Rosin and Stake Your Soul to 3. And I'll be honest, I hate Vanquish Soul. I should be like all over it. I should love it. I love fighting games, and Vanquish Soul has so many one-to-one parallels in their character design to BlazBlue. It's ridiculous. But I hate Vanquish Soul. I hate playing against that deck. The fact that they just dodge targeting, that they can just burn for 12 every turn. They can just steal games with that all over the place. They draw so much. And even worse, Holly Sue opens up for so many turn 0 plays, whether it be interruption with stealing your opponent's stuff or summoning out a dude on the opponent's turn to get even more advantage. I really don't like Vanquish Soul, and I'm not looking forward to Vanquish Soul Canine becoming a thing again, and it will be a thing. I am very confident it will be a thing again, and while it probably won't be quite as strong because of the Jokul and the Case for Canine limits, along with the Holly Sue limits, they gave them their consistency pieces back with going with Rosin and Stake Your Soul going back to 3, which is honestly a little bit more scary because now the deck is going to be able to be more consistent. You only need one Holly Sue. It does stop the turn 0 stuff though, which is good for the most part, but then when you do get Holly Sue on turn 0, it's just going to feel even more sacky. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of K9 Vanquish Soul being a thing again, but I digress. The only semi-limit is Draw and Lockbird. This card should have just went straight to ban. My guess is they want to see if the Droll semis actually matter, and if like Droll being limited probably matters. And yeah, you'll see it less, but however, I've already seen a lot of people talking about how you still see Droll almost the same amount of times as you would if you played 3. Droll really should just be banned, and we should just rip that band-aid off, and then any problematic combo decks that crop up, we just hit those as they come around. That's the point I'm at. Droll hurts way too many rogue decks, and it determines way too many games. You drop Droll, and there are so many times where, yeah, you just win the game there. Unless, like, the rest of your hand is a brick, or your opponent is still able to play under it. Heck, even decks that people think that Droll kills, if they open the right hand, they can still play under it. DDD and Super Quant, for example, can both play under Droll rather well, depending on if the player who's playing it searches the right card first, and if the rest of their hand is okay enough. I myself have made very strong boards of both decks under Droll. It's funny. But I digress. Droll should really just get banned. But okay, we're going to play this game of banning it over the course of a year. It's going to go onto the limit list on the next one, probably. And then the last ban list of the year is finally going to get banned or something. We'll see. Unless they decide to just hit it outright. And finally, the unlimits, which there's a lot, but I honestly don't think a lot of this matters. So first and foremost, Black Dragon and White Dragon. Those two are very interesting unlimits. I don't know if they're going to see play at 3 in modern Dragon Link, or if Dragon Link is even going to see much play. Dragon Link has lost a lot of its end board pieces, like Borrowload Savage, which thankfully did not come back, and yeah, it's getting new toys to play with, but what are you really making with it? So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of Dragon Link moving forward. But I'm excited to see what people like cook up with this. Dark Grapher could have came back to 3 a long time ago. Cool, awesome. it's not a relevant card anymore. Now there is always a chance that later on it might be, if something crazy comes out or people come up with a crazy brew, but we'll see. I already said my piece on Vanquish Soul Rosin and Stake Your Soul. I don't like those coming back, honestly. But you know what? Fine, sure. Let's see what happens. I'm scared though. I don't like K9 Vanquish Soul one bit. It's not a fun deck to play against. Zodiac Trident is really cool, but doesn't matter as long as Barrage is still banned, and Broad Bull is still banned. I believe both are still banned if my memory is correct. But Trident coming to 3. Okay, cool. Rise, you'll have a better version of Trident. I'm not scared of Trident. It is a fun thing to play around with, maybe, but I digress. Change of Heart and Snatch Steal are very interesting unlimits, and I'm not sure what to think about it. Mainly because both cards going back to 3, that's going to bolster going second decks quite a bit if they want to play those cards. Most notably, okay, hang on, wait a second. Okay. Okay, so... Oh, Barrage is late. Okay, I didn't realize Barrage was at 3. What? Okay, cool. Broad Bull's still banned. Is Rapier still at 1? Okay. So, I did not realize Barrage was legal. I had no idea. What the hell? That's interesting then. Okay, so if Trident's legal at 3 and Barrage is legal at 3, we might see something interesting come out of Zodiac, but I don't know. This deck, if Rapier was at anything higher than 1, then maybe, or if Broad Bull is legal. I'm honestly in the camp that Broad Bull can probably come back at 1, and that's it. I'm very, just to see what would happen. I don't know if it would actually be that strong, but, that is interesting. Okay, so... I really thought Barrage was still banned. Oh my god. Go show what I know. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Change of Heart and Snatch Steal. Snatch Steal and Change of Heart. There's one deck in particular that's going to make full use of these two. And that is Sky Striker. There's one guy at my locals who is the master of Sky Striker, and he switches back and forth between the go first and the go second build. This scares me with the go second build, honestly. I don't know how much that's going to really matter, though, because the deck doesn't really like stealing stuff unless it's using it for link plays and stuff. But, you know what? That's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Finally, there is Crystron Inclusion. This card, coming back to 3... you're going to see Crystron decks crop up again, to be completely honest. And it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Crystron is still going to keep up with being as strong as it was before, especially if the hits to K9. But, however, it is something to keep an eye on and to keep in mind of moving forward, because a lot of people love the Crystron K9 deck. A lot of people love just pure Crystron. So it is something to look at and follow and just kind of pay attention to, because you might see it at locals, you might see it at regionals. I don't know anything about bigger than that, but you will probably see people take it to YCS and stuff like that. This card coming back to 3 is a game changer for Crystron, and it's something to kind of throw in a monkey wrench into this thing, because right now everybody was looking at Dracotail Branded as being the like uncontested best deck, and this ban list does throw a few wrenches in that and throw a few new decks that might change that into the format. So it will be interesting to see what comes out of K9 Crystron or Crystron, and what comes with the Dragon Link and what was the other one? Oh yeah, Vanquish Soul. To see if any of them can compete against the Dracotail Branded. So yeah, that's everything. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on it. I know I'm several days late on this, but I really wanted to get this out and talk about it because this ban list, it did do a lot right. It did do a lot right, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Me personally, the only other thing that I personally would have done was to bring back Electromite to 1. I say that every ban list that Electromite isn't brought back to 1, it's at 3 on Master Duel. It's like, I think it's at 3 in Japan, but it's legal in Japan. I forget at what number. And Pendulum decks do nothing over there. They do nothing on Master Duel. I want to be able to play a Pendulum deck. I will probably not play anything else if I can play my Pendulum Magicians. And it's driving me nuts. I want to be able to play a Pendulum deck and not feel like I am just like shooting myself in the leg while trying to play, because the way the decks play over there and the way they play over here are totally different. And I'm getting really sick of pendulums being beaten up like a dead horse. It's ridiculous. The hatred for them is ridiculous. The only other thing I can think of that I would like, other than like Electromite coming back and Droll getting banned, is I really want to see all 3 Charmies get put to 1 eventually. I am planning on doing a video talking about the Charmies in depth and why they are broken cards that need to be put to 1. I know I feel like I'm in the minority of that opinion. Every now and then I see discussions on the Charmies come up and people are like, no, they're fair and balanced, and it's like, no, they do the same thing as Max C. You drop them on your opponent, then your opponent's forced to choose, do I play through it and pray to God they don't draw enough cards to break my board, or do I just end my turn and pray to God they don't kill me on their turn? It does the same thing as any other Floodgate, as any other as like Drone Lock, as like freaking Maxi, and all that stuff. I don't care. They can only be used going second. It still shuts down turns, ends turns, and completely neuters and kills decks that cannot play through a Charmy, which is a lot of decks. Other than that, I know people were saying, hey, let's limit or somehow limit Ash or even ban it. No, Ash needs to stay at 3. It's a necessary evil, which is funny because people say that about Droll, but Ash is unironically one, and Ash has been power crept, I would argue, too. It's just not nearly as strong as it used to be. I remember, especially now that Konami is designing cards around it, you can always tell when they push a card, they really, really design it around Ash to play around Ash. Like Yomi Snatchy, if that card was made 5 years ago, it would have searched out the field spell instead of placing it on field. Like, unironically. But no, they want to push Yomi, so they make it so it puts it on field, so you don't have to worry about it getting ashed. And then, like, Diabellstar sets a spell or trap card onto the field from deck, you know. Examples like that and stuff like that. So, I just don't feel like Ash is a card that's ban worthy or limit worthy at this point. Maybe 5 years ago, maybe even like back when it first came out, you can make that argument. But nowadays, I don't agree. Anyways, that's everything. Thank you all for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Be on the lookout for some more videos coming out. I'm going to be pumping out quite a few over the next few days, trying to catch up on everything. And also, I have finally finished my my first new my first new archetype analysis, which I haven't made one in like a year. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Thank you all for watching. See y'all later, and peace out. Bye. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider rating, commenting, and subscribing. Sharing the video helps as well. If you especially really like it, please do consider being a channel member. Every little bit helps out. And hey, also why not check me out on my other social media pages. Thank you, and have a great day.